Hello, hello, and Happy New Year. Welcome back to the Illegal Pancakes podcast, the only podcast where the opening says, hello, hello, welcome to the Illegal Pancakes podcast. So, because it's the end of the year, and what a year it's been, I could make a joke about how 2020 was something, but you guys already know, and you know what? It's not even funny anymore. So, we decided we're going to do our end of the year recap, where we're going to talk about what we liked about this year, what came out. But before we begin, I just want to set some ground rules. The stuff we talk about for our best of 2020 does not have to be something that was released in 2020. It just has to be something that we personally discovered in 2020. So, before we talk about what we did get this year, I think it's only fair to talk about what we didn't get this year. So, here's a couple of movies and games we didn't get. Godzilla vs. Kong, James Bond, Halo 6, Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, The Eternals, WandaVision, Quiet Place 2, a finished version of Cyberpunk 2077, Stranger Things 4, Lego Star Wars 6, Dune, Evangelion 3.0 plus 1.0, Free Guy, Ghostbusters, Halloween Kills, a realistic-looking Luke Skywalker, Top Gun 2, Venom 2, and of course, the Uzumaki anime.
Oh my.
So, we didn't miss out on too much. So I think what we'll do is we'll start out with talking about the best movies this year. Now, first of all, there were no freaking movies that came out this year. The theaters, they're all dying right now. Some of them are you can pay money to rent out the theater and you can just watch whatever movie you want, which that sounds like a lot of fun. Anybody want to go rent a theater out with me? Just let me know. But this was a really disappointing year for movies even beyond that. There was a lot of movies that came out this year that I was like, yeah, this is going to be it. This is going to be a great movie. And then I saw it and it was just fine. And specifically I'm talking about Tenet and the movie Soul, which just came out a few days ago. Both of them looked like they could be really, really cool and special, but they're not bad, but they're just movies. But I think for me, the best movie I saw that came out this year is sadly probably Sonic the Hedgehog, which saying that out loud makes me sound like a crazy person. But I don't know, what was your favorite movie this year, Connor?
I didn't see anything that came out this year.
No, I don't think many people did. I only saw 3 movies, which I usually see twice that many just in May alone.
Yeah.
But did you find any hidden gems from the past?
Oh, yes, I did. So, I guess you could kind of almost count this as a movie that came out this year, but I finally saw Alfred Hitchcock's Psycho, specifically the uncut version of it, which got released for the first time this year.
Oh, wait, really? There's an uncut version?
Yeah, so what I've found is that apparently this version of it hasn't been released on home video for the past 60 years. It's they finally put it on Blu-ray this year, and I think that's the version I first saw. I'm not sure, because my Blu-ray player's been acting really stupid. It'll just automatically start playing movies, so I don't know if I watched the uncut version or the theatrical cut. But the two aren't very different. It's very negligible. I actually watched it 3 times that weekend, and I could not tell the difference between the uncut and the regular cut. But I don't know, it was a pretty interesting movie.
Yeah, I first saw that movie when I was in high school, and I thought it was really great. And I don't think I saw the whole movie because I didn't know about the twist at the end, which spoilers for the movie Psycho. If you haven't seen it, please go watch it. I didn't know what the twist at the end, and then a few years later I was talking to someone about it. I was like, yeah, that movie's great. It's about the dude with the crazy grandma, and they're like, that's him, right? That's the twist. And I was like, oh. So I had it totally spoiled to me, but even when you have the movie spoiled, it's still an incredible film, and it's a masterpiece. It deserves every praise it gets. I think it is if I had to rank the top 10 best horror movies, I think that would be number 1. But yeah, no, I love that movie. For me, so I can't quite decide which one is my favorite movie I saw this year. So I watched both Blade Runner movies. So Blade Runner, I watched the final cut. I think that's what it's called.
Yeah, that's the version I've seen.
And then I watched Blade Runner 2049, which came out a few years ago. And they're both really, really good. I think Blade Runner, the final cut, is probably my favorite out of the two. But both great movies. Obviously, I'm a huge fan of like cyberpunk and stuff like that. And I'm a huge fan of retro movies and practical effects. And that movie is all of them. And the effects look great. And yeah, I was watching the final cut, which has, it's been modified so like the special effects are a little better than they were in the 80s. But still a great movie. It's weird and it's slow, so it's not one for everyone. It's not like Psycho, where I think everybody needs to run out and watch it right now. But I don't know, I enjoyed it. I thought it had some cool ideas and stuff. And what I think is really cool about Blade Runner is how they have the replicants, which are like these manufactured humans pretty much. And what's crazy is if you kind of look into like stem cell research and what they've been able to do with 3D printers and stuff, they've been able to print out, human organs and stuff like that can go inside people. It's only a matter of time before we really get to the point where I think we will be able to actually 3D print humans,
Yeah.
And it's kind of crazy to think about like how that's probably a thing that could happen. And it's fun to think about what does that mean, for society and life, and what does that mean to even be a human. So but in case you're wondering, Deckard is not a replicant. Sorry guys, I don't think so.
Try telling that to Ridley Scott.
I will. I'll say, look, Ridley Scott, I know that you like Blade Runner, and at some point you made like an 8-hour cut of the movie, but I'm pretty sure I know more than you, so make another Alien movie. Just kidding. All the Alien movies you've made in the past 10 years have been bad.
Okay, so I do have a couple more films that I saw for the first time this year that I'll just mention real quick. The Exorcist.
How was that?
I was kind of disappointed by it. It had a really good build-up, but it just kind of ends, which is really unfortunate, because a lot of people consider it to be one of the scariest movies ever made, but I just was not feeling it.
No.
Yeah, I do like.
See, that's how I feel with Poltergeist. That I watched it last year, and I was like, "This is fine."
Yeah, I mean, actually, Poltergeist is a good example of this too. But I like the practical effects a lot, and like the idea behind it. But I don't know, it's just like I didn't find it that scary.
So you're saying that you're not going to watch Exorcist 2 through 12?
No one should watch Exorcist 2, from what I hear. It's like one of the worst films of all time. But I think Poltergeist is a scarier film than the original Exorcist.
Oh wow.
Yeah, like, I don't know. Then another one is Bubba Hotep, starring everybody's favorite B film actor Bruce Campbell, where he plays Elvis, who's stuck in a nursing home because, well, he's elderly. And he's fighting a mummy.
If that's not the best premise you've ever heard, shut off this podcast right now.
Yeah, really. Like, I actually wanted to do a review of it, maybe for Halloween or something this year, but we never got around to it. So maybe we'll save that for next year, because I think you'd enjoy it, Robbie. It's a incredibly absurd film, and I think that's where a lot of the appeal for me comes from. And then, let's see. The newest film I saw this year was Knives Out, the murder mystery clue type thing.
Yeah, I think I just watched that I think I watched it on the plane during Thanksgiving.
Yeah. So here's what I'll say about this.
It's fine.
Yeah, here's what I'll say about this. Like, here is my praise for Rian Johnson right here. He is a genius when it comes to making the most painfully average films I've ever seen. It's like he can subvert your expectations and then completely revert them back to, I don't know. It's like that film was interesting up until the point where it wasn't interesting anymore. All the characters managed to be complete caricatures, yet somehow still unique at the same time. I don't know how to describe it. The man's an enigma.
Yeah, no, that's how I felt too. It's like,
and that kind of sums up how I felt about The Last Jedi.
Yeah, no, that's how I feel about it too. The Last Jedi and Knives Out are both almost amazing movies, but almost is the key word.
Yeah.
And honestly, I kind of want him to direct an episode of The Mandalorian because like he is a talented director, but I don't know. I feel like he would work well in a TV setting.
Yeah.
Because he's good at building tension, and if there's one thing The Mandalorian does not have, it's tension.
Yeah, that's pretty.
And interesting characters. Oh, I just went there.
Yeah, that's pretty fair. I mean, these are the only 2 films of his I've seen, so I really don't know what his other work's like.
But so he did Breaking Bad, or at least he worked on it.
Really?
And that show's universally loved. And then he made the movie Looper, which I think also everyone that's seen it has told me it fits into the same category as Knives Out of like, yeah, it's kind of good, but it's kind of stupid at the same time.
I wonder what episodes he did for Breaking Bad, because a lot of those are hit or miss too. Like some of them are just painfully slow. It's like the kind of show that you watch only once in your lifetime.
Mm-hmm. I guess I'm trying to think if there's any other movies I saw this year that kind of caught me off guard. The Man from U.N.C.L.E., apparently that movie came out a few years ago. I'd never heard of it, but my brother told me to watch it, and it's pretty good. It's a Guy Ritchie film, so
nice.
Yeah, so it's the same guy who did the Sherlock Holmes movies, and it's like very similar to those movies in the aspect of like it's very fun, like the way it's directed. There's like a lot of cool and crazy camera angles and unique fight scenes, and the movie is definitely trying to like hit you over the head with like 70s stuff. It's not like Guardians of the Galaxy or something where it's just like hamming you with like nostalgia stuff. It's just goofy and quirky, and everybody has these cool 70s outfits. It's a fun movie, and it's got Alicia Vindicator, I can't pronounce her last name, Henry Cavill, and Armie Hammer, and I think they're all great in the roles. It's a fun. I think it's kind of the direction that James Bond should go next time they reboot it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that if I watched it a second time, there'd be a lot of like holes and issues that would kind of stick out for me. But I don't know. I enjoyed it a lot.
Yeah, if Greg recommended it to you, I don't know. Like, I have a feeling it might be a little bit more airtight.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, like that completely went under my radar. Like I knew it. I saw a trailer for it, but I like never like actually.
Well, from what I understand, it came out the same time as like The Kingsman.
Oh.
And it was kind of overshadowed by that because they're both very similar movies.
Yeah.
Because they're both like trying to recapture the 70s spy craze.
Yeah, I could see that.
But one has Samuel L. Jackson in it, so.
Yeah.
You guys hear a boat?
I don't hear a boat.
Oh. That's weird.
Oh.
My Skype thing was like blinking at me. It was yelling at me for some reason. I don't know why.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, let's move on to games.
So, I don't think I have a best video game for this year, but I do have a worst video game. Doom Eternal. Nah, I'm just kidding, guys. I'm just kidding. Doom Eternal is obviously my pick for the best game of the year. That's no secret to anyone if you've been watching this channel. Surprise, surprise, there weren't any games that came out after March that impressed me the same way Doom Eternal did, even if I haven't beaten the DLC yet.
You still haven't beaten it? Holy shit.
Yeah. See, it was funny because when the game first came out, there was a lot of people that were comparing it to Dark Souls, and I was like, this is a hard game. Is it really Dark Souls? And then I'm on the last level, and I was playing it, and I was like, you know what? This sucks. This is Dark Souls. If I have to fight another possessed cyber mancubus, I don't know. I'm just going to find a new fandom.
Yeah. So yeah, Doom Eternal is definitely my pick for this year. The Ancient Gods, a little less.
I still like it, but it's so freaking hard, and maybe I just suck at the game, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bit of acquired taste. I think we should get a little bit more in depth once we actually do a review of it, which we should
Mm-hmm.
do. I mean, I've been meaning to
Yeah.
replay through it again, or play through it again. Damn it.
Yeah, and I should have a decent amount of spare time over the next couple days, so I think I should be able to beat it within a week. But who knows? That cyber mancubus that's possessed by a spirit, that thing really put a bad taste in my mouth.
Yeah, I don't know. Like, I wrestled with Doom Eternal a lot, like, how I actually felt about it. But in the end, like, yeah, I ended up liking it. So it might be a similar thing with the Ancient Gods. I just gotta adapt.
Adapt.
Yep.
Be wise. Get good.
Yeah.
Were there any other video games that you found this year that kind of, like, stuck out to you?
Oh, yeah. So, fresh from our Halloween recommendations from this year, Resident Evil 1 and 2. Now, I have had a bit of a history with Resident Evil 1 and 2. I've owned both of them since, like, I don't know, freshman year of college, but this year was the first year the first time I actually went through and played both of them. I beat both Chris and Jill's stories in the first one, and I did one playthrough of Resident Evil 2. I did a Leon A and then a Claire B, but I didn't do the other way around, unfortunately, because I think I started a Claire A, but then I like died halfway through it, and I was like, oh, I'll pick this up later, and I never did. So yeah, those are, being a Silent Hill fan, I was kind of overlooking those for a long time. And granted, I got into Silent Hill after I got into Resident Evil, but so I was like kind of having like, I'm not going back to this, but I regret that. Holy crap. Resident Evil is fun. And Silent Hill is fun, but Resident Evil's also fun. It's okay to enjoy both of them.
See, I think that's funny that you chose Resident Evil, because that was actually going to be my pick as well.
Yeah.
Which, again, I talked more in depth about this on the Halloween podcast, but when I was watching you play the first one, I like went home and I bought the remake on Steam, and I haven't beaten that one either. I haven't played it in a while, but it is, every time I have played it, I'm just like, this is awesome. Just the fact that it's just such a simple concept that you're just stuck in a haunted house and there's zombies and there's trapdoors and stuff. Everything is just super simple, but like it does it so well that you just have to have fun with it. It's awesome. It's my type of game.
Yeah. And I actually really like the idea of a whole like evil corporation working in the background. So it's kind of like the UAC with Doom. That's what Umbrella is, because they're not overly tangible in the game. Like, it's mostly just you cleaning up after them, pretty much. Like, after their mistakes, or, well, not really mistakes. Don't really want to try to...
And what could be more appropriate this year than an evil corporation that made a disease that is affecting people?
I don't mean to be that guy, Robbie, but I'm pretty sure the one in game is way, way, way more fatal.
Leave all the Alex Jones messages in the comments, please, about how coronavirus was made up and created by the Chinese or Nazis or something. I don't even know. Is coronavirus still a thing? I didn't have to quarantine.
Oh boy.
Out here in Idaho, they act like it isn't. You don't have to wear a mask anywhere, which is kind of nice.
Huh.
Unless I kill someone, because I give them corona, and then I'll feel bad.
Yeah, just don't breathe on people weird. Actually, don't do that in general.
Yeah.
Okay.
I should probably give Among Us a shout out, because that was a game that came out. I don't even think it came out this year, but it got popular this year.
It's been out since 2018. It just finally, I don't know what happened. Like, people just finally discovered it. It's like, oh, hey, let's play this game. It's free. We're all quarantined. Here's a game that, like, crap, I don't know how many people can be in a game at one time, but, a decent amount.
Yeah, no, and it's, obviously it has, like, homages to Alien and John Carpenter's The Thing, which are both movies I love, so obviously I have to give it respect for that. But I don't know, it's just a really fun, like, group party game. Those are the kind of games that I like. Yeah.
It's a very easy game to win at being the imposter if it's your first time playing it. You can always feign ignorance.
Yeah. I was actually playing it with my friends earlier today, and I got mad because I was in the room with the imposter, and the imposter like killed me, and then somebody walked in, and the imposter was standing right over my dead body, and the guy didn't do anything. He didn't like call a meeting or anything.
Was he not the other imposter?
No, he wasn't. He was one of the crewmates.
Oh, what a douche.
Yeah, I know. So if you're listening to this podcast, purple player with a bird face mask, screw you. Nobody likes you. You suck at Among Us.
He was sus. Did he get floated?
I can't remember.
Yeah, okay. All right.
I know as soon as he left, another crewmate walked in and the imposter killed him. So, like, that purple dude literally got, like, one person killed and, like, could have ended the whole game right there.
What a douche.
I know.
Holy crap.
And see, stories like that are why I have to put Among Us on the list for the best games this year, because obviously those stories. The Master Chief Collection is finally finished on the PC, which is fine. I haven't actually messed with Halo 4 yet, but what is really cool is they've actually like modified Halo 3, so now it has like more weapons and you can get more armors and stuff. So the PC is now the definitive way to play Halo 3.
Oh, sweet.
Yeah, but if I did have one complaint about the Master Chief Collection this year is, well, some of the expansions, I say expansions, but some of the games got released a little early. Like, it took like 4 months for them to release Halo 1. And then like, yeah, so like from when Reach came out, it was like 4 months later they released Halo 1, and then like 3 weeks later they released Halo 2. But if I did have one complaint, it's that it's pretty much impossible to play online unless you're playing Halo 3. And even though Halo 3 like is my favorite, I still want to play on like Halo 1 online and stuff. And if you're trying to set up a server on Halo 1 or Halo 2, it's going to take like forever for you to get a full server. But if you try doing it on Halo 3, it's going to fill up in like 10 seconds. So if you're listening, hey, maybe you should play Halo 1 or 2 sometime. They're both fun.
Yeah, that's why with the Street Fighter collection that they had come out like a year or two ago, they didn't have every game have online.
Yeah.
It's like some of them, I doubt anybody would be playing. Not that anybody's playing Street Fighter on like an official release. Oh, yeah. On that official collection, I'm pretty sure people are just doing MAME emulation anyway. Because it costs $30 less to do that, as in it's free. Oh, what was I going to say? Okay, so I guess the last new to me games on my list are Castlevania games, which I haven't talked about in a while, kind of, since Halloween. I finally acquired Castlevania Bloodlines, which was the only Castlevania game released on the Sega Genesis. Woo. I haven't played much of it, but it's pretty fun. I'd still say Super Castlevania 4 on the SNES is a bit better than it, but I don't know. It kind of has its own thing going. It's set during World War I, which is kind of cool. Not that you get to use guns or anything, but it's just different. And instead of like the game being set within the castle, you go around to like different locations in Europe for each level. And you fight Dracula's niece, who is, I guess, supposed to be Elizabeth Bathory in the Castlevania universe. I think her name's Elizabeth Bartley in the game, so like it's not too far removed. Yeah, she gets resurrected, and then she decides to resurrect Dracula, who's apparently her uncle. Yeah. So yeah, that was...
Is it one of the side-scroller
Oh, yeah,
ones?
yeah. Yep,
okay.
Definitely. Sega Genesis, Robbie. Of course it's side-scroller.
Oh, yeah, that's true with Genesis. Well, the first non-side-scroller one was Castlevania 64, right?
Yeah. Yeah,
okay.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Genesis is not the same time.
No, Genesis was like...
64, never mind. I was thinking of...
Saturn.
The other... Yeah, I was thinking of Saturn. Never mind.
Yeah. And then the other game that I think I acquired this year, I forget if it was this year or late last year, but either way, I'm going to talk about it now. Castlevania Chronicles, which was like the 5th time the original Castlevania got remade / re-released. I kid you not. So this is based on a version of the first Castlevania that only got released in Japan on the Sharp 8600, I think it's called. And that it was just called Castlevania on that, but I guess they decided to give it a different name so it wouldn't be as confusing when they released it on PlayStation 1. Now, there are 2 versions of the game on the disc. There's the original Japanese version, which is hard as shit. It is crazy. Like, you think it's a like straight up remake of the original Castlevania, but no, they show you what's up like right out of the gate in the first level. I wish I had a good, yeah. It's like I'll just straight up spoil it. So you know how on the first level, after you get past the first door, there's like those bricks you can hit, and like a pork chop comes out.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, guess what? Instead of a freaking pork chop coming out, it just like infinitely spawns a bunch of the hunchbacks.
Oh, what on earth?
Yeah. They just keep on coming. It's like you see one for the first time, it's like, oh crap. But no, they just keep on coming and coming, so you just have to avoid the wall. Like, and then I forget if I said the other version is an arranged version of the Japanese one, which is slightly easier. Then it also uses a different sprite for Simon Belmont. It's probably one of the worst Simon Belmont designs I've ever seen. Just Google Castlevania Chronicles Simon Belmont. It's like he's what I like to call the stripper Simon Belmont.
That's a very appropriate name.
Yeah. It is a mess. So yeah, that about does it for video games for me. You got any others?
No, I think that's all.
Oh, wait, I got one more. Doom 64.
Oh, yeah, Doom 64.
Yep.
The new port. I mean, I'd played a fair amount of Doom 64 on like some illegal ports before, so I was already decently familiar with it. But the new Bethesda port is definitely the way to play it right now. I have it on my PC and I have it on my Switch.
I have it on Xbox One, and it's pretty darn fun. I also have it on the N64, which, well, for the longest time, my N64 was acting kind of weird with the video and stuff. And I think I already talked about it in another video before, but like if the screen goes dark, like the video would cut out for a bit. But I don't know if it's because I'm using a new cable or I'm on a different TV, but it's not doing that anymore. So I decided to give it I decided to give it a try again on the original, and I just cannot get into it that way because you can't really edit the controls for the joystick.
Gross.
Yeah, the problem there is that you use it both to move forward and backward as well as rotate, and I really hate that shit. It's like I cannot stand move and rotate. It's like I'd rather just have it rotate only and no movement, because there's a D-pad like right to the left of it. Let's just use that for movement and strafing. But no, you can't. Mm-hmm. You can't turn the movement off, the stick movement off. What's wrong with you, Midway Games? GoldenEye got it right.
GoldenEye, that beloved game ranked as being one of the best on the Nintendo 64. It got it right. Why can't you, Doom?
I forget which one of those came out first, but either way.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing about GoldenEye. GoldenEye doesn't have a modern release besides the Daniel Craig remake, but Doom 64 does.
Yeah. And guess what? I can use mouse and keyboard on my Xbox One with that re-release.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's weird.
So when is the Doom RPG re-release going to come out?
Yeah, Night Dive Studios, when's that coming out?
Mm-hmm. Here's one complaint I do have about the new port for Doom 64.
Okay.
The opening, like when it has like little cutscenes for all the different companies that worked on it, it takes for freaking ever. And like I even checked in the files. The majority of the space that game takes up on your computer, the majority of that space is dedicated to those like little cutscenes. Like, just let me skip them. There's so many. It's like every company in the world worked on that game.
Dang. Oh boy. So yeah, I need to go back and actually finish that. So maybe
me
maybe
too.
we'll talk about that more at some point next year, but I don't know. All right, let's move on to comics. Comic/manga. Yeah.
I guess I'll go first. I didn't read a ton of comics this year, at least not compared to last year. I did reread all of the Dark Horse Clone Wars comics because I was trying to. I was revisiting them because I was doing that Clone Wars video and I wanted to see how much those comics held up, and surprised they were actually better than I remember them being. But so Marvel has recently been doing this thing called the Epic Collection, where they're just releasing a bunch of the old Star Wars comics from Dark Horse in like these huge volumes, and like they're releasing them by era. So I was able to get the volume 3 of the Clone Wars comics, but it actually has like a bunch of other comics that I hadn't seen before that were added to it. So they're really cool collections, but the problem is I have volume 3 of the Clone Wars, and they should be making a volume 4, at least they should, because there's a couple stories that are left out. But volume 1 and 2 cost like freaking $70 a piece, and I'm like, holy crap.
You gotta be kidding me.
And like I really want to get them, but at the same time I'm like, I gotta find them at like a cheaper price first. But I read Batman Damned as well this year, which is the infamous comic for having Batman's penis. I did not read the version with Batman's penis.
That's what I was about to ask.
Sorry. Yeah, sorry, Zack Snyder. Obviously, I don't think I like that one as much as the Clone Wars, but I should point out that it really does have some really cool art in it, and it's a decent Batman story. It's nothing special, but it's definitely a comic book you borrow for the art, because whoever did the art on that comic, it's freaking beautiful. But I think that's my summary of comics for this year.
All right. Yeah, on my side of things, like it was pretty much just a bunch of Junji Ito stuff. I read a lot of his, I guess, long form stories, for lack of a better word, or lack of a better term. Gyo, which that's a pretty interesting one. We might have to talk about that sometime, Robbie. But it's about these fish with legs that come out of the sea, and they're surrounded by a very terrible death stench.
Is that the one with the spider sharks?
Yeah, that one.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know. It's interesting. It's a very quick read. I think I read the entire thing in one day. But I don't know. It flows pretty well. It's more of a continuous story than like Uzumaki. It's not really broken up into individual stories, which is kind of nice, but that means you're probably going to end up reading a lot more of it than you intend in one sitting. Other than that, I read a fanslation of Hellstar Remina, which actually got an official release this past month, I think, like a week or so ago. A couple weeks, mid-month, I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
We might have to talk about that one too, but because that one's like Uzumaki on frickin' crack cocaine. For lack of a better word, like term, holy crap. It is insane. And if there is any manga of Junji Ito that we get Greg to read, that has to be the one, because I know he's gonna have a lot to say about it. About one specific part in it. And it'd just be funny to hear. Other than that, I guess I also read like the entire Tomie collection, which was much harder to get a hold of than I thought it would be. was like $40.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, it was like $40 for the volume, and apparently it got like a reprint this past year or something. But like I don't know if it was in stock when I tried to order it on Amazon, so I had to go through eBay. But yeah, that pretty much sums it up.
All right. Let's see. Do we want to move on to things that surprised us the most? Or?
Yep, let's go ahead with that.
All right, I'll let you go first.
Okay. So I guess this is kind of appropriate. So my biggest surprise for this year was Tomie.
Oh,
yep,
okay.
I don't think I've really talked about this before, but I had known about the Tomie stories for a long time because a couple of them were adapted in the Junji Ito collection, which was like my first, I guess, exposure to any of Junji Ito's work. And I don't know, like they adapted the first two stories, which I was just not impressed by. Like overall, the Junji Ito collection was pretty like poorly handled, but those two stories are just like, yeah. So I don't know. I decided to like, I'll give this a try. And I bought the collection or the Tomie collection and read through them, and I was actually surprised in the end because while there are a couple of them that don't really work well on their own, like there are a couple of standalone ones thrown in, like standalone stories that are just kind of meh. But there are quite a few that have kind of like a continuity between them, and they're actually pretty interesting. Like, I don't know, like I don't really have any notes prepared to like describe why, but I was pleasantly surprised, to say the least.
That's cool.
Yeah. I would say that I definitely wouldn't start with Tomie if you were thinking about, picking up Junji Ito. Like Uzumaki's still a pretty good starting point, but I don't know. Once you get around to it. Yeah.
All right. So I think the biggest surprise for me. So I've been working on turning this into a full video, so I'm not going to go too in depth with this, but so if you guys didn't know, this summer Netflix came out with a new Transformers series, and it's only like 6 episodes. But like when I watched that, I was kind of like, oh shoot, I really like Transformers. So with that, I found on YouTube the entire Transformers 2001 show, which the weird thing about this show is that it's like a cult show. Like it's it's like not very well known in like the Transformers community, and it's because like it's never been released in the US like on home video at all. So like it's only been played on TV like once, and that's it. And yeah, not even the whole show's been played on TV because it came out like right during 9/11, and there's a lot of 9/11-esque sequences and episodes. So it's like this really obscure show, but I was like, screw it. I'm working night shift. Why not? I got nothing better to do. And it kind of like caught me off guard because it is just like a basic kid show. And like you can tell that because the backstory on why it was created was that the Japanese and like American Transformers companies wanted to work together to create a really big Transformers anime, but they weren't ready with it yet, so they just kind of like crap out this show. So like the guys that were in charge kind of had like full creative control to do whatever they wanted as long as they used the toys they told them to. Which all the toys are just like old Transformers toys. But to say the least, there's like one episode in particular where it's one of the villains and he has like an existential crisis, and like it ends with him coming to the realization that he has like this destructive personality, that everything that he's been trying to do has like been causing him more and more pain, and like at the end it just comes to him with the conclusion that he's like a terrible person. And it's a kid's show. This is like some Rick and Morty level shit. Like I was watching it, I was like, what is this? So yeah, it's just like this really weird obscure Transformers cartoon that like occasionally deeps into these really like I don't know, deep concepts and stuff. So yeah, that was definitely something I found this year that was like pretty surprising.
I'll say.
And like I said, I'm gonna do a full video on it someday. because it is something that's really weird and obscure and like interesting.
Alrighty.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if the stuff I just said sounds ridiculous and retarded, don't get me wrong, like it totally is, but it's interesting to say the least. All right. So do we want to do biggest disappointment of the year?
Oh yeah, and you
All right.
already know what I'm gonna say.
Is it going to be the entire year because it's been a really weird year?
Well, yeah, I'd put it down for the year that has been the biggest disappointment of my life, but yeah, I don't know, that's beside the point. But no. Biggest disappointment as far as media released this year. Which, yeah, this was actually released this year. It doesn't really feel like it since we talked about it.
No, it does not, because this was pre-quarantine.
Yeah, we talked about this so damn long ago, but Castlevania Season 3. And we pretty much cover why in our video or review of it from back in, what was that, April?
Mm-hmm.
Had to have been April. So yeah, it's just like the way that season ended up, I kind of am worrying a bit about how the rest of the series is going to go, especially if they decide to prolong the current story arc beyond where it is now. Yeah,
it was. I don't think I hate it as much as you, and I definitely don't hate it as much as some of the people commenting on our review of it.
Oh yeah,
but no, it was definitely disappointing, and like I've still like gone back to like season 2 this year and like watched bits and clips of it, but I can't say I've done that for anything in season 3, and it's not the worst thing in the world.
Yeah,
but it's definitely the worst season of Castlevania, and that's too bad because the last 2 seasons have been pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, season 1's not amazing by any means, but it's also so short that it barely counts as a season.
Yeah. So yeah, like, yeah, I didn't hate it, but at the same time, it's like, I don't know what they were thinking half the time.
Yeah.
But like,
it was disappointing.
Yeah. But since you mentioned the comment section, holy crap, we had our first flame war in our comment section, which we did not, start ourselves. That was pretty great. Except I think it ended up getting deleted.
Yeah. Just too bad because I should have archived it. It would have been funny to read.
Yeah, it was a mess. I think he would have lost several brain cells from it.
Worth it. I think for me, this is going to be a weird one. Biggest disappointment, I think it might just be the fact that Doom Eternal's soundtrack hasn't been officially released yet. Like, at this point, I'm wondering if, like, COVID-19 is going to die before the soundtrack gets released. And, I mean, I'm not, like, the biggest fan of the soundtrack. I like it a lot. I like it a lot more than 2016's.
Same.
And I have an illegal copy of it on my computer. But at the same time, it's kind of like, just release it,
Yeah.
And like the fact that it was given to the people that got like was it the deluxe edition that came with it, or was it the super pre-order box set?
I know I got it
because you have the soundtrack, don't you?
Yeah, I got the collector's edition. I definitely got it. I don't know if the digital deluxe or whatever the mid-tier version of the game, what they got. I think they might have just gotten the DLC stuff.
Yeah. It's just the fact, like, you released it with the collector's edition, so, like, everyone just kind of expected it to come out soon, but no, it still hasn't come out, and, like, I understand that the version that came with the deluxe edition or the collector's edition isn't, like, the greatest quality, and that Mick Gordon was pretty upset, and there's that huge fiasco where he's been let go, but at the same time, it's just, I don't know, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's just weird that it still hasn't come out in some form.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that is kind of a disappointment for me too, because I actually sort of like the soundtrack a bit more. Like, I know I've given Mick Gordon a lot of crap, even though a lot of it was mostly hyperbolic in the past, but like, I don't know. I didn't want to root against him, but just what happened between him and Id, just, I don't know, maybe it's for the best what ended up. Like,
yeah.
But it just seems kind of uncharacteristic at the same time.
Yeah. Oh yeah, and then Microsoft bought Bethesda. What's up with that?
Yeah. I'm not really disappointed about that.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not too upset, but I don't know, it's just like the stereotypical thing is that whenever Microsoft buys a company, then it like ruins it. And I'm like, hang on. I'm not ready for Doom to be ruined yet.
Yeah.
It's still a few years off.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people are freaking out about it, though. They're like, oh, it's going to be exclusive. And it's like, I don't think Microsoft's afraid of money.
Yeah.
Like, had Sony, on the other hand, bought it, like, yeah, you would not see anything released outside of PlayStation.
Mm-hmm. And though I don't have, like, the newest Xbox or anything, I do have a PC, so, like,
Yeah.
I imagine all of the games will still be released to PC, which I'll play them on.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, speaking of Sony, they're, like, in buying up companies, this would have been my biggest disappointment, but there was rumors floating around back, I forget when this was. It was probably like the springtime that they were going to buy the Castlevania, Silent Hill, and there was another series off of Konami. Metal Gear, I think. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And people were like, oh yeah, they should do it. And I was thinking, it's like, oh, I don't want to buy a PlayStation. I don't want to give Sony money. That is a terrible idea.
Well, you don't want to pay $2,000 for a PlayStation 5?
Oh, no, hell no.
Oh yeah, by the way, I've seen the PlayStation 5 in real life. I've played it. It runs great, and if you do get it for $500, it is a pretty good deal when you look at the hardware it comes with. But holy crap, that thing is huge. It's so big. Like,
is it bigger than the?
It's bigger than the Xbox One. It's bigger than the VHS player looking Xbox One. It's massive. It's like this. It's not really the size of a gaming PC, but it's the size of like a tower PC, a large one.
Yeah.
So like one from like 2005.
Have you seen an Xbox Series X for comparison?
I have not, and I imagine that one's pretty big too.
Yeah.
But I feel like the Xbox Series X is easier to put on a shelf, and I don't judge consoles by how easy it is to put them on a shelf. But wow, PS5, like the fact that it's like in this weird, awkward shape too, like you can't put like your TV on top of it or anything. Like it's strange. But the controllers are cool. It runs games well.
Yeah.
The new Black Ops is pretty fun.
I guess that's nice, except for the fact that you can't really buy any. But still, yeah. I don't want to give Sony money, not even for even for new Castlevania.
I don't think anyone should buy a console when it's brand new, just because there's not a ton of games for it yet, and it's going to be more expensive than it will be next Christmas. You know?
I mean, and also I don't really care about any of Sony's first-party titles, which unfortunately, if they did buy all of Konami's IPs, they would pretty much become first-party, which I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just glad that
the fact that it runs PS4 games makes me think that, I don't know, maybe in the distant future I'll get one, because I mean there are a couple PS4 games I'd like to play, like the new Spider-Man game I'd like to check out and stuff like that, and I assume there'll be some new cool games that come out on the PS5 eventually. But as of right now, I don't really have an interest to buy one.
Yeah.
I don't have enough money to buy one.
Yeah. They pulled a Nintendo. Well, I don't actually know what happened with why there aren't enough. Because I know, like, I was going to say, they pulled a Nintendo, but I know Nintendo, like, usually just creates a small batch of stuff to, like, test the waters, kind of, and then what ends up happening is a bunch of scalpers buy it and jack up the price until Nintendo makes more. But I think it was just, like, the Rona that kind of messed with their supply chain a bit.
Of things.
Yeah. They're still stupid-ass scalpers, though.
All right. Well, this podcast has been going on for about an hour, which is longer than I expected it to.
Yeah, we got kind of ranty.
Do you have any... Yeah, well, it's been fun. It's been a good conversation. Do you have anything that you want to add before we end?
Yeah, we actually got some good stuff planned for this coming year. We're still gonna do. We're gonna continue to review the Uzumaki manga and the anime if it ever comes out, as well as some other Junji Ito stuff. Even though those don't really get as many views as our like Doom videos, they're still, I don't know, they're still fun to talk about.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And then I don't know. I got a Castlevania Netflix series video planned that I hope I get out before season 4 comes out. And then I got a new series that I would like to start, which I was really hoping to have the first video out by the end of the year, but I had a bunch of technical difficulties and some other stuff happen in my life. So it kind of got delayed, but I'm still kind of working on it now, and it'll come out sometime next month.
Yay!
/ next year. Yeah, I know Rob's happy.
Yeah.
He's really excited for it.
Yeah, and hopefully I'll have some cool videos to make as well. Yeah. Part of me is toying around with making a video about The Mandalorian, kind of in the same vein as the Clone Wars videos. Because I did finish the second season, and it's fine. But I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. I want to make a Transformers video first.
Yeah. You're still waiting on me to do mine, or the one before it.
Yeah, well, I mean, I still have to finish the script. I still have a lot of work to do.
Yeah.
But, yeah. Thank you so much for listening. It's been a fun year. At least on this channel, it's been a fun year.
Yeah. And we don't really say it often, but thanks for all the views, especially on the Doom Ancient Gods Monsters vid, which those always blow up.
Yeah.
Like randomly, like our Doom Eternal videos will just get a bunch of views randomly, and you're like, oh, nice. So yeah, thank you for that.
I mean, if we had to take this channel and just make it Doom videos, I'd probably be okay with that.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Hopefully next year will be better than this year.
Hopefully.
We've got a lot of videos planned. So stay tuned. And we are out.
Bye.
Bye. Blah.